This is a place where players can come and get better and be surrounded by an organization that supports you, where they're going to have everything they need to be successful.
The Indiana Fever are about to pull off the biggest heist in WNBA history. They're not just signing one superstar, they're not even signing two. They're going after 10 game-changing free agents that could turn them into instant title contenders. You might be thinking there's no way they can afford all that talent, but here's where you're wrong. The Fever have a secret weapon, and her name is Kelly Krauskopf. Returning to the Fever this year with a bold vision, Kelly isn't just here to play nice, she means business. I know the free agent situation in the WNBA, but are you in a position where you can add some pieces? Yes, we are. We're definitely in a position. And I would think that if you are a smart basketball player and you watch the way she plays, you would want to play with her. With her extensive connections and resources, she's setting out to make Indiana the hottest destination in the league. Her strategy, it's ambitious and it's already turning heads. You won't believe what she has planned to make the Fever a powerhouse. You know that feeling when you're watching a movie and the two main characters finally team up? That electrifying moment when you realize you're about to witness something special. Well, get ready, because that's exactly what's about to happen with Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell on the Indiana Fever. Good thing for women's basketball. I play alongside this kid, so it makes everything a little bit more dramatic, and the people are coming out to see this person. We just do what we can. We embrace it. I'm pretty sure our organization can feed off of it. Let's talk about Kelsey Mitchell for a second. Did you know she averaged 19.2 points last season? That's not just good. That's all-star level good. And it's not like she just got hot for a few games. After the Olympic break, Mitchell went on an absolute tear, scoring 20 or more points in 7 straight games. Can you imagine trying to guard someone that consistent? Now picture Mitchell playing alongside Caitlin Clark. We're talking about two of the best shooters in the game on the same team. How our defense is supposed to stop that? Clark's college stats are off the charts, and her ability to create opportunities for her teammates is unreal. With Clark's vision and Mitchell's scoring touch, this could be the most dynamic backcourt the WNBA has ever seen. Because Kelsey Mitchell said basketball is a language and you have to get on the same page. Me and Caitlin like to play fast and up-tempo, and I'm always going to align based on how she's playing and how she's going. Here's where it gets really interesting. Mitchell's a free agent right now. The Fever have to sign her, right? But at what cost? We're talking about a player who's been the heart and soul of this team. The Fever's president even said they wouldn't be where they are today without her. That kind of praise doesn't come cheap. So let's break down exactly how much it might take to keep Mitchell in Indiana. Spoiler alert, it's a lot. We're talking about a Supermax qualifying offer of around $250,000. That's a big chunk of change. But can the Fever really afford to let Mitchell walk? Look, we're going to evaluate everything and have those types of discussions. Here's the thing, it's not just about the money. It's about building a championship team. And that's where Clark comes in. Her addition to the team isn't just about her individual talent. It's about how she can elevate everyone around her, especially a scorer like Mitchell. But all signs point to her returning, including her and Clark attending the Pacers and Grizzlies game. You might be wondering, can these two really coexist? Won't they be fighting for shots? But that's the beauty of it. Clark's not just a scorer, she's a playmaker, and Mitchell has shown she can play well with other star guards. This isn't a case of two players fighting for the spotlight. This is about two stars coming together to form something greater than the sum of their parts. Kelsey Mitchell has been an all-star, but she had the stage, the bright lights, and everybody could see what kind of bucket getter she is. Plus, Caitlin draws the defense. Kelsey gets to go one-on-one and put her skills on display. With Clark's playmaking and Mitchell's scoring, we might be looking at the new Splash Sisters, and that's just the beginning of Indiana's makeover. The Fever are building something special here, and this backcourt could be the foundation of a dynasty. And Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell make up the most electrifying backcourt in the WNBA. So buckle up, WNBA fans. The Clark and Mitchell show is about to begin, and it's going to be one hell of a ride. You think the Fever are done after landing Clark and Mitchell? Think again. Kelly Krauskopf, one of the smartest minds in basketball, has her sights set on a free agent that could change everything. We're talking about Nneka Ogwumike, the former MVP, who's still dropping jaws at 33 with 16.6 points and 7.6 rebounds per game last season. We are thrilled here on SportsCenter tonight to be able to announce right here, right now, that your 2016 WNBA most valuable player is Nneka Ogwumike. Ogwumike's not just about the numbers, though. She's a leader who can walk into a locker room and instantly command respect. Imagine her taking young stars like Aaliyah Boston under her wing, teaching her all the tricks from 9 All-Star appearances. That's the kind of mentorship that turns good teams into great ones. But here's where it gets really interesting. Ogwumike's game is so versatile. She's a nightmare for opposing coaches. She can post up, blow by defenders, and even stretch the floor with a 40% three-point shot. How do you even guard that? Now, you might be wondering, why would Ogwumike leave the sunny West Coast for Indiana? That's where Krauskopf comes in. She's the mastermind who led the Fever to their only championship back in 2012, and now she's back to work her magic again. You can bet she's painting a pretty picture for Ogwumike, saying something like, Nneka, come to Indy and lead this young team to a championship. Be the missing piece that turns us into a dynasty. All the people that have supported me along this journey have supported us. Ogwumike is a big fan of Caitlin Clark and has always been vocal about the Clark effect. With that in mind, Krauskopf should have an easier time convincing her to join the Fever. But she has, you can tell, how she plays, that she has the pro mentality. Oh yeah, I think that there's a lot of talented athletes that come into the league and, everyone struggles, even me. I even had a hard time. I think everyone has that transitional period. But I think the difference maker with people that make it to the WNBA is the discipline. And I don't have to see Caitlin work in the gym to know that she has that discipline to be a pro. Ogwumike in Boston in the front court with Clark running the point. That's a big three that covers every aspect of the game. Scoring, defense, leadership, it's all there. The rest of the league should be scared. Very scared. Because if the Fever land Ogwumike, they're building a juggernaut. And with Krauskopf pulling the strings, don't bet against it happening. The Fever are coming, and they're coming fast. Are you ready for it? We've talked about some incredible players, but get ready for the wild card who could turn the Fever into an instant force. Say hello to Satu Sabally, the international sensation who's got the entire league buzzing. One high-profile free agent who would be a perfect fit for the Fever is Satu Sabally from the Dallas Wings, who was at the Liberty Parade with her sister enjoying that. Some people could make the case that maybe she'd want to go to New York as a result. But the Fever, she would be an awesome and amazing fit as the stretch four. Sabally's stats last season were off the charts: 17.9 points, 6.4 rebounds, and 5 assists per game. That's all-star level dominance right there. But here's where it gets really interesting. Sabally's a 6 of 4 inches forward who can handle the ball like a guard and crash the boards like a center. She's a versatile player who can do it all on the court. Struggle here with her shot. She scored just 2 points in her last 2 games, and Sabally with an answer. Now, you might be wondering, if Sabally is so valuable, why would Dallas let her go? Well, that's the tricky part. Sabally is a restricted free agent, which means the Wings can match any offer she receives. But here's where it gets interesting. Sabally has a special affection for the Indiana Fever and isn't shy about showing it on social media. And she actually likes some comments on TikTok about the Fever, wanting to bring her in. Fever will welcome you. She liked that. Would love to see you with the Fever with some heart emojis. Not that that means anything, but nonetheless, that is a positive indicator, at least for Fever fans who are hopeful. Let's break it down. Indiana needs to make Sabally an offer she can't refuse. We're talking big money and a vision of championship glory. Picture Kelly Krauskopf sitting down with Sabally, painting a picture of her running the fast break with Caitlin Clark, or dominating the paint alongside Aaliyah Boston. That's the kind of pitch that makes players take notice. And if you're looking at their cap table, it seems like they do have the room to make a big-time acquisition. Kelsey Mitchell is going to get a max deal. That's going to be priority number 1. But then they have to bolster the rest of the roster because it's time for the Fever to compete for a championship, and Sabally would be a huge piece for that. But here's where it gets tricky. Even if Sabally loves the offer, Dallas can still match it. So what's Indiana's play? They might need to get creative. Maybe they structure the deal in a way that makes it tough for Dallas to match. Or perhaps they work out a sign and trade deal that benefits both teams. Satu, please stay in Dallas. Either way, I'll always support. She said, Dallas will always be my first real American hometown. So for me, that indicates that she is calling. Will always be. That's the past tense, right? She's referencing the past there. Can you imagine if they pull it off, though? We'd be looking at a lineup with Clark, Mitchell, Sabally, and maybe even Ogwumike or Howard. That's a dynasty in the making. We're talking about the kind of versatile offense that keeps coaches up at night trying to figure out how to stop it. Think about it. With Sabally's ability to play multiple positions and Clark's passing skills, we might be witnessing the birth of the most unstoppable offense in WNBA history. Sabally could see more open looks than she's ever had before. Can Indiana really steal an all-star forward from a rival team? It won't be easy, but stranger things have happened in the WNBA, like when the Sky snagged Allie Quigley as a restricted free agent, transforming their franchise. The Fever are hoping for a similar move with Sabally. If they land her, Indiana wouldn't just be contenders, they'd be the team to beat. Isn't that exactly what Indiana fans have been dreaming of? But we've talked about her as almost the ideal fit for the Fever for a while, and the expectations have to be very high for Indiana next year because there's no reason with their core group of players, assuming Kelsey Mitchell's back. That is stars. They've got stars already on the roster. Remember Natasha Howard, three-time WNBA champion and 2019 Defensive Player of the Year? She's not just a defensive specialist, she's a two-way force. Last season, she put up 17.6 points and 6.7 rebounds per game. That's all-star level production. And on defense, she was a nightmare for opponents, averaging 1.2 blocks and 1.3 steals per game. Now you might be thinking, how would Howard fit with the Fever? Picture this, Howard and Aaliyah Boston in the front court together. Who's scoring in the paint against that? It's like trying to drive through a wall. And with Howard guarding multiple positions, the Fever's defense suddenly becomes a fortress. But here's where it gets really exciting. Think about what Howard could do for Caitlin Clark. With Howard protecting the rim, Clark could push the tempo even more. We might be looking at the fastest team in WNBA history. Fast breaks all day, every day. Now you're probably wondering, can the Fever even afford Howard after signing Mitchell and maybe Ogwumike? Well, that's where things get interesting. It's going to take some serious cat magic, but it's not impossible. We've seen WNBA teams pull off similar moves before. Here's how it could work. The Fever might need to make some tough choices. Maybe they let go of a few veterans or trade away some future draft picks. It's a risk, but when you have a chance to get a player like Howard, sometimes you've got to go all in. And don't forget about what Howard brings off the court. We're talking about a player with championship experience, someone who knows how to win. Can you imagine how she could help young stars like Clark and Boston? It's like getting a player and a coach in one package. The league better watch out. If the Fever get Howard, they're building a fierce defensive powerhouse set to dominate. And just when you think we've named all the big stars, there's Briana Turner, a rising talent who could be the missing piece Indiana needs. You might be wondering, didn't she have a down year with Chicago? Yes, she did, but that's what makes her such an interesting target. A player with her potential coming off a tough season. That's the kind of diamond in the rough that smart teams pounce on. Here's where it gets really exciting. Turner's still young with room to grow. She could explode in Indiana's system. Imagine her sprinting down the court, finishing fast breaks. That's the kind of basketball that gives coaches nightmares. But I want to see women's sports thrive throughout my whole entire lifetime, not just the time that I'm in it now. So my hope is that as I plant these seeds now, WNBA players in 3 decades will see the tree in full bloom and will be able to pick the fruit off and just enjoy the literal fruits. Let's break down how Turner could fit into the Fever system. Her defensive versatility is off the charts. She can guard multiple positions effectively. In today's WNBA, where everyone's trying to go small and fast, having a player who can switch on screens and still protect the rim, that's gold. But it's not just defense. Turner's got a nose for the ball on the boards too. Did you know she once averaged 9.4 rebounds a game in a season? That's elite. Those rebounds could turn into easy buckets in transition.